I let my MIL think the rule applied to everyone, not just her. When my mother-in-law showed up at the hospital 2 hours after I gave birth and tried to take my newborn from my arms, I knew something had to change. I was exhausted, still bleeding, barely conscious from the epidural wearing off, and there was Carol, reaching for my daughter like she was picking up a package from Amazon. My husband Daniel wasn't even back from the cafeteria yet. "Give me my grandbaby." She didn't ask. She announced, "I need to bond with her before anyone else gets here." I held my daughter tighter. "Carol, I just gave birth. I'd like to hold her myself." She actually rolled her eyes. "You'll have her forever. I only get moments." That was the beginning. Over the next 3 weeks, Carol showed up unannounced 11 times. She'd walk right in without knocking, rearrange my kitchen, tell me I was breastfeeding wrong. Once she took my daughter out of her bassinet while I was sleeping, and I woke up to an empty room. I almost called the police before I found them in the living room. Daniel kept saying she meant well. She's just excited. She waited years for a grandchild. But something was wrong with Carol. She wasn't excited. She was obsessed. She started texting me every morning asking for photos, then every hour. When I didn't respond fast enough, she'd call Daniel crying about how I was keeping her granddaughter from her. That's when I made the rule. I told Daniel we needed boundaries. No more unannounced visits. Everyone had to text first and wait for confirmation. Everyone had to wash their hands before holding the baby. Everyone had to leave by 7 p.m. so we could establish a bedtime routine. He agreed immediately, said it made sense. Then I told Carol. She stared at me like I'd suggested we sacrifice the baby to ancient gods. "These rules apply to everyone?" "Everyone." I said it with a straight face. "Even your own mother?" "Especially family. We need consistency." She was furious, but she couldn't argue. Rules were rules. They applied to everyone, except they didn't. My mom came over the next day, walked right in, held the baby for 3 hours, stayed until 9 p.m., helping me fold laundry. My sister stopped by unannounced twice that week. I never said a word. Daniel's brother came over on Saturday morning without texting. I handed him the baby and made him coffee. The rules only existed for Carol, and I made sure she never found out. Whenever Carol visited, I'd casually mention how my mom had to wait outside once because I was napping. I'd talk about how my sister accidentally broke the hand-washing rule, and I had to have an awkward conversation. None of it was true, but Carol believed every word. She actually started defending the rules to other people. My daughter-in-law is very strict about visitors. It's for the baby's immune system. I respect it completely. She thought she was being the perfect grandmother by following rules that nobody else had to follow. 3 months went by. Then Daniel's aunt visited from Ohio. Carol was there when Aunt Patricia walked in without knocking, didn't wash her hands, and picked up the baby immediately. I smiled and offered her tea. Carol's face went white. Why isn't she following the rules? I looked at her confused. What rules? The visitor rules. Everyone texts first. Everyone washes hands. Everyone leaves by 7. I tilted my head. Carol, those were specifically for you. The room went silent. What? You showed up 2 hours after I gave birth and tried to take my baby from my arms. You came over 11 times in 3 weeks without asking. You took my daughter out of her bassinet while I was sleeping. Carol was shaking. That's not fair. I didn't know. You didn't know that taking a newborn from a sleeping mother was wrong? Daniel walked in from the garage, saw his mother's face, saw mine. What's happening? Your wife has been lying to me for 3 months. She made me follow rules that nobody else had to follow. Daniel looked at me, then at his mother. Mom, you took the baby while she was sleeping. He said it quietly. I would have made the same rules. Carol grabbed her purse. This is humiliating. No, I stood up. Humiliating is waking up to an empty bassinet 3 weeks postpartum and thinking something happened to your baby. She walked out without another word. Daniel's aunt looked between us. Should I leave? You're fine. I smiled. The rules never applied to you anyway. Carol didn't speak to us for 2 months. When she finally came back, she texted first, washed her hands without being asked, left at 6:45 p.m. She never mentioned the rules again, but every time she visits now, she knocks twice and waits. Some boundaries only work when people think they're being watched.